Hello everyone. In the last video we have seen how to calculate the forward interest rates. Now the extension to that is forward rate agreements. Let's have a look at this concept of forward rate agreements, how they are framed or how they are going to be settled. So taking a cue from the last lecture, if I just say that the term and the rate of interest. So specifically to this rate of interest, let me call it as MIBOR. Let me simply call it as MIBOR or Mumbai Interbank Offered Rate. There may be also London Interbank Offered Rate. That's the rate of interest which exists between the bankers. That's the rate of interest which exists between the bankers. It's the rate at which the bankers buy and sell the currencies, or you can say it's the rate at which the bankers lend and borrow amongst each other. So let's say currently the terms are like 1 month MIBOR is 5%, and suppose 4 month MIBOR is available at 5.5%. So we have 1 month MIBOR at 5%, 4 month MIBOR as 5.5%. So basically if I just draw a diagram, we know we are at 0, then it is 1 month, then it is 4th month. So we have 1 to 0 as 5%, and from 0 to 4 months, we have got 5.5%. Now I want the rate of interest, or I want to know what should be this rate of interest. So basically I want to know the forward rate of 1/4. That is to say the forward rate or the loan or deposit beginning at 1st month and ending on 4th month. So from the previous video we know how do we calculate this rate. So let's first calculate this rate and then we'll take the discussion forward. Forward rate 1/4, we say this can be calculated as 1 plus 0.055 divided by 12 into 4 divided by 1 plus 0.05 divided by 12 into 1, and then we know this whole will be reduced by 1, and then this entire thing multiplied by 12 by 3. So if I just do this, the forward rate that we will get the answer as 0.055 divided by 12 into 4 plus 1, so that's basically 1.01833 divided by the other one is 0.05 divided by 12 plus 1, so that's 1.00417. This whole reduced by 1, then further multiplied by 12 by 3, so that's 1.01833 divided by 1.00417 minus 1 into 12 divided by 3. That gives us answer as 5.64%. This is being calculated taking a cue from the previous lecture. So that's the forward rate for a loan or a deposit to be undertaken after 1 month and to be closed at the end of 4th month. Now suppose I go to the banker or another banker enters into the market, wherever it is. So I ask for a loan from the banker that I want to take a loan, not today but after 1 month from now. So my loan will start after 1 month, and I say that I want to repay it after 4 months from now. So basically the loan is going to be for a period of 3 months. The loan is going to be for a period of 3 months. Then we know that the banker is going to quote us this 5.64% as the rate that the banker will say that okay, if you want a loan, we are ready to offer you a loan after 1 month for a period of 3 months at a rate of 5.64%. Okay, so basically if I enter into this typical forward rate agreement and enter into forward rate agreement, what is going to happen, or what are the transactions that are going to happen? So if I say today and after 1 month, and then also we need to say what will happen after 3 months. Today the banker and the customer, they exchange only promises. They exchange only promises today. The banker promises that the banker will give the customer a loan, and the customer promises the banker that he is going to repay. Now obviously the loan, the promise that the banker has given is loan after 1 month, and the customer says that he is going to repay after 3 months, and here the promised rate or the agreed rate between them is 5.64% as the rate of interest. Okay, then what should happen after 1 month? What should happen after 1 month? What actually happens, that we are going to discuss at a later stage. What should happen is that after 1 month, the banker and customer should come together. The banker should give a loan. Let's say the loan which was promised earlier, or which was agreed between them, was, let's say, rupees 1000. So banker gives 1000 rupee loan after 1 month, and then both the parties again meet after 3 months with again the banker and the customer meeting together. Now it's the turn for the customer to pay back. Now after 3 months, how much should the customer pay back? The customer should pay back definitely rupees 1000 plus interest. Now the question arises, what should be the interest? How much should be the interest that the customer should pay back to the banker? So interest is going to be 1000 multiplied by 5.64% multiplied by 3/12, because it was a 3-month loan. So 3 months interest will be charged by the banker, and the interest that will be paid is going to be 14.1 rupee. So that is 1000 multiplied by 5.64% into 3 divided by 12, so that's 14.1 rupee. So the amount that the banker will receive from the customer is 1000 plus 14.1, so that's 1014.1. This should be the amount which the customer should pay to the banker. So here the transaction, the ideal transaction would have been like this, where Today they just enter into promises. After 1 month, the banker pays the loan or gives a loan of 1,000 to the customer. After another 3 months, that is basically we can say this is 3 month from loan. This is 3 month from our loan. So that is basically from today till 4th month. Okay. So the customer should pay back to the banker 1014.1 by also including the interest at a agreed rate of interest. Okay, so this is the idealistic situation where I say that this derivative contract, this forward rate agreement, it should happen like this if it is settled by delivery. If it is settled by delivery. Now, in this scenario, we are actually not concerned what is the rate of interest after 3 months, or what is the rate of interest after 1 month. So suppose if after 1 month it happens that 3-month MIBOR or the market rate of interest, if it turns out to be let's say 5.5%, if it turns out to be 5.5%, a 3-month MIBOR, if it turns out to be let's say 5.5%, can you think what will happen, or what will be the emotions of our customer or the person who has agreed to borrow? Is he going to be happy or unhappy? By entering into forward agreement, the customer has promised to borrow at 5.64%, whereas the existing MIBOR now is 5.5%. Obviously our customer is going to be sort of unhappy, because we can observe that it would have been somewhat better for the customer had he not taken a forward rate, because when he is taking a forward rate, he is compelled to pay a rate of interest at 5.64%. But right now, because of existing market rate for a similar loan is 5.5%, so definitely our customer will be unhappy. Now let's just take this discussion forward and understand how a typical FRA is settled. Okay, let me just go to the next slide. Okay, suppose the banker and the customer they promised on day 0. As I told you, they only exchange promises. The promise that was made was that the banker is going to pay, or after 1 month, banker was supposed to give a loan and the customer promised to repay after 4 months at FRA, forward rate agreement, of suppose 6%. For our easy computation, let us simply take it to be 6%. Okay, now this was agreed on day 0. Now we come to a stage where we are having 1 month being passed, and now the customer comes to the banker and asks to the banker, hey banker, just give me the loan. So the customer asks from the banker, give me the loan that we have agreed, and suppose that loan was for 1 lakh. The agreed loan was for let's say 1 lakh. So the customer asks for the banker that see, you have promised 1 lakh loan you are going to give me after 1 month. Today is the exact date after the exact 1 month after the day on which when we have agreed. so give me loan of 1 lakh and I agree to pay you at a rate of 6%. The banker says, we will not give you any loan. The banker says, we will not give you any loan. Now the customer is very angry. He says, what the hell are you saying? Based on your loan, I have arranged for my other financial activities. Based on this loan, I have promised an order, or I have promised a customer that I'll be manufacturing a product and delivering him. And now you're saying that you won't be giving me any loan? The banker says, no loan at 6%. But if you want a loan, you take a loan at MIBOR from the market. You take the loan from the market at MIBOR. Then the customer says, okay, so you're going to give me a loan at MIBOR. So let me see what is the MIBOR. The customer looks at MIBOR and he finds that MIBOR at that time, or the market rate of interest between the bankers at that time, is suppose you can say 3-month MIBOR at that time is available at, let's say, 7%. Now obviously the customer is going to be even more angry and he says that you have promised me a loan of 6% and now you are giving me a loan at MIBOR which is 7% per annum. This is a clear case of cheating and I'm going to file a suit against you. The banker says, wait sir, we are not cheating anyways. We are asking you to take a loan at MIBOR rate, but we didn't deny that we are defaulting on our FRA. The customer is now confused. The customer says, what are you saying? The banker says, sir, tell us, what was the rate that we have agreed to you? The customer says it's what, 6%. And what's the current rate? The customer says it is 7%. The banker says, okay sir, so are you making any loss? The customer says, obviously yes, I'm making a loss of 1% per annum rate of interest, because we have agreed at 6%, and based on that I have linked my other finance activities with this, and now you're asking me to take a loan of 7%. That is not acceptable, sir. The banker says, okay sir, you are losing 1%. What if we just compensate you that 1%? What if we just compensate you that percent? So the customer is now a little bit confused. Now the customer says, can you just please clarify what are you saying? The banker says, okay, let me just make the things clear for you, sir. The banker says, tell us, sir, if we give you a loan at 6%, we are not going to give you, but suppose if we give you a loan at 6%, what is the interest that would have been applicable to you? What is the interest that you would have paid to us? Then the customer just calculates that on a loan of 1 lakh into 6% into it's a 3-month loan into 3 by 12. So he asks for a calculator. The customer asks for a calculator from the banker. Give me a calculator, I just want to calculate it. So it gives you 1 lakh into 6% for a 3-month loan. So that's, it says that it will be like 1,500 would have been the interest that I would have paid. Okay. So now under this is the interest under FRA, under the forward rate. The interest is this. Now the banker says, okay sir, suppose now if you take a loan under the current MIBOR, so you also compute what is the interest under MIBOR. What is the interest under MIBOR? So customer says now it is 7%. So that's 1 lakh into it's 7% into 3 by 12. So that would be like 1 lakh into 7% into 3 divided by 12, and then the customer says it is 1750. And now the banker says, sir, how much extra are you going to pay because of this MIBOR loan? If you don't give you a loan at this 6%, and if you are compelled to take a loan at MIBOR of 7%, what's the extra interest that you're paying? The customer says, I'm paying 250 as extra. Now the banker says, sir, won't it be good that we just compensate you this 250 now? We just compensate you, this 250 amount, and you take a loan from outside, you pay 1750. You take a loan from outside, you pay 1750, and the bank, as a banker, we promise you that we'll be paying you this 250 after 3 months. So now basically the customer is somewhat convinced that okay, so if I take a loan from outside, I am going to incur an interest cost of 1750, whereas if I take the same loan at an agreed rate which was 6%, I pay for 1500, so there's a loss of 250 which the banker is promising to compensate. Now obviously the arrangement which to depict this graphically, if you just want to present this graphically, here's the customer is asked to take a loan of 1 lakh and pay back 1 lakh plus MIBOR. This you're going to take loan after 1 month, and this is supposed to be paid back after 4 months to the bank. And from the back side, the banker says that when you're going to pay back that interest plus MIBOR, the bank also promises that we are going to pay this 250 rupees also to you. So loan 1 lakh aega, the banker will provide a loan of 1 lakh at MIBOR rate. The customer is going to pay back 1 lakh plus MIBOR of maybe the rate of interest as 1750, the amount of interest is 1750, and 250 is going to get compensated. So the customer says okay, this seems to be working and this is having the net effect as same. But then the customer is now saying that I don't have faith on you, I don't have any faith on you, because you had earlier promised me a forward rate and then now you're saying 7%, you're saying compensation. I don't have faith on you. You do one thing, this 250 you compensate it right now to me. This 250 which you are supposed to pay, because you are not giving me a loan at 6%, but you are compelling me to take a loan at 7% at a MIBOR rate, at the existing market rate. So you compensate me this 250 right now. Tell me guys, is the banker going to give you the 250 immediately? Of course no, the banker won't give you 250 immediately. There's a simple reason for that, because this 250 was due after 3 months from the inception of loan. So obviously banker will say no 250 today sir, I won't be giving you any 250 today. But अगर आपको 250 आज चाहिए, if you want that 250 today, if you want, or I can say if you want that benefit or the compensation today, obviously the compensation that will be paid will be present value of 250. Present value of 250 will be paid by bank to the customer. Now when I say present value of 250, that present value of 250 is 250 divided by 1 plus the MIBOR rate, whatever is existing in the market. So we say it is 250 divided by 1 plus MIBOR rate is 7%, and I need to adjust this for 3 months because this is being paid 3 months earlier before than the due date. So 7 needs to be adjusted. 7 multiplied by that's basically 3 by 12, or I can say it's 0.07 multiplied by 3 by 12. So 1.07 multiplied by 3 divided by 12, 0.07 into 3 divided by 12 plus 1. So that's 250 divided by 1.0175. That's basically 250 divided by 1.0175. That's 245.70, and this is the settlement price. This 250, the compensation that the banker will be paying, this is the settlement This is the settlement price, or I can say this is the settlement cash flow, we can say settlement cash flow for FRA. This is how the settlement is going to undertake. So just to practice a bit more, let's say FRA 2/3, it was agreed to be, let's say, 7%. Now after 2 months, what will be the settlement? How the FRA is going to be settled? Settlement cash flow. Now FRA is 7%. Now one thing we need to understand, that this FRA 7%, we always say that either it is either it was bought or sold. Either it was bought or sold. So if I look at the previous example, over here, this FRA agreement over here, when the banker and the customer had agreed for a loan to be given to customer at 6%. So here that FRA was entered into, but we need to also understand who has bought the FRA and who has sold the FRA. Who has bought the FRA and who has sold the FRA. Remember, if you are in a position of borrowing, that if you want to borrow on a future date, then it means you are actually buying an FRA. Whereas if you are in a position to give a loan on a future date, it means you have sold an FRA. Sir, how come is it buying and selling? Let's understand it. See, in this case, the customer has agreed to take a loan at 6%, and on the date of maturity, the MIBOR turned out to be 7%. So the customer has agreed for 6% and he is now going to take a loan at 7%. So basically he was in a borrowing position, and we said he has bought the FRA. Since he has bought the FRA at 6% and now the market rate of interest is 7%, so obviously the customer is in a profitable situation, because he has bought at a lower price and now the price is higher. He has bought at a lower rate of interest. Now the rate of interest is higher, and therefore we said he is gaining 250. So he has bought earlier and now he is settling it, so therefore he is gaining. Whereas if you look for banker has agreed at a rate of 6%. It means, as we said, banker has sold at 6%. Now the banker is going to settle it at 7%. So banker was having a loss of 1%, right? So taking a cue from here, so we need to understand buy an FRA and sell an FRA. If it's a buying an FRA, whenever you are going to buy an FRA, that basically means you're going to receive floating rate of interest, and you're going to pay fixed. Because you need to understand, when we are buying anything, we are going to pay something. And what are we going to pay over here? In this case it is 7%. So if you bought an FRA at 7%, it means you have agreed to pay a fixed rate of interest at 7%, and you will receive floating, and obviously the net off is undertaken, as we observe over here. Like in this case, we can observe that the customer was paying 6% and he is also going to receive 7% from the banker, and that just got netted off. And that goes with this also. Whenever it's a buying, understand it simply means receive floating and pay fixed. And whereas if you have taken a sell FRA position, it means you have agreed for receiving fixed, whereas you're going to pay floating. Okay, so that's receive fixed and pay floating. Okay, so now coming back to over here, what should be my settlement cash flow over here? So if the FRA is 7% and after 2 months we want to know what is the settlement cash flow. After 2 months, what is the settlement cash flow? So we say that after 2 months, 3-month MIBOR is, let's say, 8%. So can you identify who has incurred a gain and who has incurred a loss? Buyer of FRA and seller of FRA. As we have told, the buyer has agreed for receiving fixed and pay floating. The buyer has agreed to pay fixed, receive floating and pay fixed. So he was supposed to pay 7% and he was supposed to receive the MIBOR. That is basically he is going to pay 7%, he is going to receive 8%. So definitely there is a gain of 1%. And if we talk of a seller, he was supposed to pay 8% and he was supposed to receive 7%. So there is a loss of 1%. So definitely gain amount, if I just compute the amount of gain that it has incurred, so that's going to be 1 lakh. Let's say the principal amount is 1 lakh into the differential is 1% into the rate of the time period for which the loan was supposed to be is 3 months. So into 3/12. But I also need to make it, if I just compute it, let me just look at it, what's the computation. That's 1 lakh into 1% into 3/12. So that's 250. I also need to make a present value of it because this gain is going to happen on a future date, that is after 3 months. So that's going to be 1 plus 0.08 into 3/12. So that's basically 1.02. So 250 divided by 1.02, that comes out to be 245 again. This will be the gain amount which the buyer of the FRA is going to receive from the seller, and the seller is supposed to pay to the buyer. Let's take one more last example before we end this video. Let's say FRA of 3/6. It was agreed at 8%, and after 3 months, MIBOR for a 3-month deposit or a loan is, let's say it's available at, suppose, 6%. That's available at 6%. So now who is in a advantageous position? So if you just say buyer of FRA and seller of FRA, the buyer has agreed to pay fixed. Fixed means it was agreed earlier at 8% and he was supposed to receive MIBOR. So basically he is going to pay 8% and he is going to receive MIBOR is 6%. So there is a loss of 2% that the buyer is sustaining, whereas the seller was supposed to pay MIBOR. Now when I say pay MIBOR means he was supposed to pay 6% and he was supposed to receive 8%. So definitely he is having a gain of 2%. So cash to be exchanged in between them. That's going to be 2% of, if I say the notional amount or the principal that was agreed is, let's say, 1 lakh, and this was for a 3-month loan, so 3 by 12. Then also making it to present value, there will be 1 plus 0.06 into 3 by 12. So if you just compute it, we get 1 lakh into 2% into 3 by 12, that's 500, divided by 0.06 into 3 by 12 plus 1, so that's 1.015. So if you just divide it, 500 divided by 1.015, that's 493, or I can say 492.6. This is the price, or this is the cash needs to be exchanged, the final cash that needs to be paid. By whom to whom? Final cash that needs to be paid by obviously, since the seller is going to make a gain, the seller is going to give 492 to the buyer, and nothing needs to be paid by buyer because it's the net amount that they are supposed to exchange, right? So that's how a typical FRA is being settled. Now the next video that we'll have, it will involve certain examples or certain more practice questions, practice sort of examples that will make the concept of FRA settlement more clearer, and then post that we will have the video on swaps. So thanks a lot everyone, see you in the next video.